What up YouTube, G4Lady here once again, and basically today's video is going to be a video request to the homie, the Breakmaster. You know, he put out a video, I think it was a week ago, about your top 5 anime, and I don't think I've done this topic before. I know I've talked about my top anime, but I don't think I ever done one on my top 5. But if I have, you know, because I put out a lot of videos and don't remember, my list just changed, you know, so bear with me, you know. But let's get this list popping off and shit. Starting at number 5, my 5th favorite anime is Hajime no Ippo. You know, and the reason this is one of my favorite animes is because it's one of the most realistic ones. It's realistic without it being bad, you know, because some realistic anime come off a little bit bad to me, you know. I just don't like it, you know, but this one genuinely comes off very realistic. I genuinely like it, you know, and especially when the time I started watching it, I was doing some boxing and shit myself. I was doing boxing and Muay Thai back in 2008, you know, so it was nice to have that show as motivation for what I was doing in my real life, you know. So Hajime no Ippo comes at number 5. My number 4, I would have to say, is Scryed or Scryed. You know, that's definitely one of my favorites, you know, because everything about that anime I loved. I remember when it debuted. No, the first time I watched it was when I got a New Type magazine, a New Type anime magazine. If you ever bought that magazine, you know it comes with like a free DVD in it that comes with like one anime episode on it. So I watched it on there, and from there, you know, Adult Swim had picked it up, you know, and after that, the rest is history. It had good storyline, good action, and the final episode blew me away. That final fight scene, oh my god. Anime scene for the gods, you know. If you ain't never watched Scryed, please go watch that anime. You will not be sorry. My number 3 is a classic, you know, Ruroni Kenshin. Ruroni Kenshin is one of my favorites because it still holds up today, you know. It still holds up in 2012. When I watched it as a kid, you know, I loved it on a Toonami and shit. It was a really awesome anime. I kind of wish they put it on Adult Swim though. That would have made more sense. But I liked it on Toonami. I liked it edited. I liked it unedited. I genuinely liked that anime, you know. Had great action, great storyline. You know, Kenshin was a great protagonist to you always found yourself rooting for him, you know. Even it was just like I said, I just loved all the characters. I love the concept. I love samurais, that type of thing. I love the ninjas type. I love stuff like that. So it was very well executed. It's one of my favorite classics, and it still holds up in 2012. So definitely Ruroni Kenshin at number 3. My number 2, I would have to say, is G Gundam. Y'all knew G Gundam was gonna be in there somewhere. G Gundam, like, it's one of my favorite Gundam series of all time. A lot of people like to argue and say, oh, Gundam Wing is better or just as good, but to me, G Gundam is a standalone because it was so innovative for what we was, because usually we saw in Gundams, they wasn't really doing much, you know. They just had to sit in their mech suits, had to sit in their Gundams and do shit. But this one, they actually had freedom of movement. It actually seemed like you have to actually know how to fight in real life, you know, to control your Gundam. I love that concept that was placed in there. I also loved the storyline. I loved following Damon Kashu's journey to find his brother. I loved that storyline. I loved that concept. I love the fact that they was basically going Super Saiyan in these Gundams. You know, it had such an intense martial arts feel to it within a Gundam series. You know, it's like you taking Dragon Ball Z, you taking Gundam Wing, and you mashing them together, and it just gelled together really good. So if you ain't never watched G Gundam, definitely go check it out. And not to mention the great storyline, you know. So definitely number 2 is G Gundam. You know, and my top anime series, if you guys watch my videos, you already know, but in case you don't, I'll tell you anyway. My number 1 is Yu Yu Hakusho. And the reason I like Yu Yu Hakusho is because it's like Dragon Ball Z, but it's not over the top. And the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho are more relatable. Like Yusuke, he's more relatable. Like, if you ever been a school delinquent, you know, but you turned your life around and you do more good, and people didn't expect you to do more good. They just figured you'd be a delinquent forever and you changed, you know? That's very fucking relatable. And the characters was awesome, the fight scenes are awesome, and it's not one of them series that you're gonna finish in like 26 episodes, you know? Granted, sometimes I like short anime, but sometimes I just like long ones with different arcs and shit like that. So Yu Yu Hakusho, definitely, along with its soundtrack too, my all-time favorite anime, and I don't think that number 1 spot will ever change, you know, because Yu Yu Hakusho holds a special place in my heart, so I don't think that will ever change. But anyways, that wrap up my top 5. You know, if you got your own top 5 list, do a video response. I would love to see what you guys top 5 is. So you can either do a video response or you can leave it in your comments down below. So anyways, G4 Leader here, signing off. Thank you for watching, guys.